Graduation day begins. Students gather, unsure it's real. They head to the gym where speeches wait. Students line up for certificates. A girl refuses to go on stage. Her friends push her forward anyway. A boy watches, face calm. He doesn't smile. Others around him look nervous or excited. Students chat about old memories. They didn't sing the school song. Continuing with You and I Are Polar Opposites, 64 through 65. Subscribe for more recaps. Now they laugh about it. A girl shows a photo. Her friend hates it. They switch to signing yearbooks instead. Two students pose for a photo on the roof. He smiles big. She looks unsure, but agrees. She takes the photo. He asks for one with his phone. She says yes. Happy with the result. They both make peace signs. She laughs. He keeps smiling. The photo turns out perfect. She asks for another shot. He moves into the light. She tells him to stand right there. They take more photos. Friends laugh and cheer. The moment feels light and full of joy. Teachers watch, dressed formally. Students think it's funny. Teachers don't know how to react. The whole class takes a group photo. A girl from the cheering squad asks for a picture with the captain. A girl sees the green team gather. She wants a photo with them too. Her friends agree. The red team poses loudly. They look flashy. Others watch, unsure who they are or why they're here. Everyone crowds together for one big photo. A boy runs up late. They all shout cheese. A quiet boy watches. He doesn't join. His friends call out to him. He stays still. A girl holds a heart-shaped item. She asks if he cried. He says no. She says she did. She wants to take a picture with his phone. He doesn't understand, but agrees anyway. She tries to take the photo. He moves away. She asks again. He finally lets her take it. More photos happen. Students cheer. A boy walks off alone. His friends call after him. He walks away, thinking. She watches him go. Her friends notice and point him out. She panics. She didn't mean to chase him. Her friends laugh. She doesn't know what to do. She runs after him. Her friends watch, confused. She doesn't stop. She keeps going. He runs ahead. She follows. She thinks she's not chasing him. She just wants to talk. A girl asks for a photo. He agrees. She takes it. He looks surprised, but doesn't refuse. Friends laugh. They didn't know he liked her. She didn't know he went to her school. The school building stands quiet. No one is outside. The day feels over, but not really. He sits alone on a bench. He thinks. Maybe today wasn't so bad after all. He stays there. He thinks back. A lot happened in high school. More than he ever expected. He sits, head down. If he had to sum it all up, he'd say it was good. He looks up surprised. He can't believe today is really the end. He's been waiting for this. She walks toward him. He watches her come. She doesn't see him yet. She stops. She sees him. Her eyes widen. He stares back. Neither moves. He hides his face. She stands there unsure. He says nothing. She says nothing. She panics. She denies crying. She doesn't want him to know she's upset. He covers his face. He whispers, "Please don't tell anyone." He's embarrassed. She stares. He swears he's not crying. She doesn't believe him. He's bad at lying. She sits beside him. She says, "I do." He doesn't know what she means. He waits. She smiles. She says it was fun. He looks at her. She looks away. He nods. He touches his face. He never thought he'd show someone how weak he could be. She smiles wider. She says she's glad she came here. She asks him how he feels. He looks down. He never thought he'd be able to do this. He says, "Yeah." He looks at her. He says, "For everything." She looks back. She doesn't speak. They sit. He says, "Thank you." She whispers, "Thank you." She looks at the sky. She thinks. She's been stuck thinking about relationships, but just now, things changed. She looks at him. She says she hasn't done anything. He says, "In fact, they sit together." She says, "Thank you." He says that might be enough. They write in yearbooks. He doesn't know what to write. She says, "You don't need to think hard." She hands him her book. He says, "I won't know who wrote it if you don't." She laughs. She takes his book. She reads, To Shuji. She says, "Wow, what a powerful name." He frowns. He writes in her book. She watches. He writes, "Do your best." She says, "Scary." She says, "You did fine." He says, "I can feel that you passed." She says, "Based on what?" He looks down. He thinks, but if. He doesn't finish. He's not sure what to say. She looks at him. She doesn't speak. She waits. He doesn't move. She blinks. She looks at him. He looks at her. She says, "This all ends today, I guess." She says, "Tazu." He hears it. She's calling him by his name now. He smiles. She says, "I'll be okay now." He watches her walk away. He doesn't stop her. He reaches out. She doesn't turn. He says, "I have no regrets." His hand drops. He grabs her wrist. "Hang on." She freezes. He's not letting go yet. "This changes everything." He asks, "Hang out even after we graduate?" She stares. Her eyes widen. She has no idea what's waiting. She screams, "Wah! Come on!" Sky fills the panel. Her voice echoes. He's still holding on. Classroom cheers explode. "Congrats!" They jump. She's smiling. But little does he know what comes next. They sit at a table. "Let's enjoy our final discount." He looks down. She's nervous. Awkward silence. Trampoline park chaos. They bounce wild. She flips. He falls. Friends laugh. Just then, she lands hard. Montage flashes, baby held. License center, happy faces. They're moving fast. Life won't wait for them. Crowd gasps. She's shocked. He's confused. Someone yells. What he sees next makes him step back. Ice cream eaten. Ticket booth. She hides behind a pole. He looks around. Where did she go? Sky again. And so, words float. Clouds drift. Time slows. What would you do in his place? They sit on a bench. "Are your preparations complete?" She looks away. He stays calm. She's scared. She says, "We'll get busy. New friends." He frowns. "What's that face?" She won't meet his eyes. He says, "Doesn't that mean you don't trust me?" She panics. "I'll be fine." She waves. He stays. She admits, "I'll be lonely." He nods. "Yeah." She looks up. "You have a point though." He waits. He says, "I'd become the kind who can handle it." She smiles. "Ready to say of course?" He believes her. She stares blankly, her mind empty. She can't recall when she first noticed him or how she felt. They sit back to back, smiling. The title says they are polar opposites, but their closeness says otherwise. Class buzzes with noise. A student holds a sign, spring of my second year of high school. Chaos reigns. He reads, ignoring the noise. A classmate laughs. I'm not the only one. Another says, you can't be serious. He mutters, sorry, I wasn't listening. Classmates react with surprise. One asks, what do you think, Tani? He stays quiet. Others whisper, being quiet was never an option to him. One says, don't drag others into this. She leans in, teasing, I wasn't particularly trying. He keeps reading. She says, nice focus. She calls out, Tani. He walks away. She says, they've never really been fighting. He looks confused. He walks down the hall thinking, why? She yells, see ya. He thinks, well, that's good. She walks with friends, smiling. He watches from behind. She laughs loudly. He stays silent, observing. Classmates chat. She laughs with others. He sits alone, looking down. The noise continues around him. He walks down the hall. Someone calls, hey, Tani. He turns, but no one is there. He keeps walking. He talks to her. She says, Yamada was pretty crude during cooking class. He thinks, she. He wonders, why is she trying to act like a buffer for me? He stares ahead, confused. She turns to him. You know you don't need to be doing this, right, Suzuki? He looks at her. He says, thanks. She smiles, eyes closed. He looks away. She says, even so. He stays quiet. He walks away. She watches him go. He thinks, must be tiring. She looks down, sad. He stands by lockers. She walks past, looking at him. He doesn't turn. She keeps walking. He holds a book. Give me your work. Classmates react. He says, you should fix that. They'll point it out. She looks down, blushing. Hearts float around her. She walks away, looking at him from behind. She skips down the hall. See ya. She hands him food. This looks yummy, huh? He says, thanks. He sits alone. A classmate says, time to change seats. He thinks, been talking to me a lot lately. She sits next to the window, fanning herself. So hot. He thinks, next to the window. She says, I bet it's hot. She holds a bag. It was 300 yen. Wrong. He says, I don't know. She asks, how much do you think this cost? She asks, do you care more about texture or octopus? She says, the size of takoyaki is way more important. She smiles. Good morning, he says. Morning. She asks, what did you have for breakfast, Tani? He thinks. What should I do? She says. I had rumble balls. He says. Balls? 3 of them. She says. What do you think, Tani? He says. I don't care. She laughs. He thinks, I can't figure out what she wants. Classmates whisper. Don't say so much stupid stuff to him. He thinks, just pointless conversation, no reason. He thinks, she doesn't care about my answers. She laughs. So dry, so funny. He stays quiet, confused. Another classmate says, stop treating me like your toy. Tani thinks, where did that come from? He frowns. She says, I ran a kilometer in 3 minutes. He says, you got me there. She laughs. He shrugs. As they keep talking, he thinks, I started to understand. There wasn't any real point or reason to it. She suddenly vanishes. He looks around. The hallway's empty. He stands still, wondering where she went. He thinks, the negative feelings I had, when I thought about it, they just want to make noise. He walks past a shop. Thinks, this person, this song. He stops, looking at a plush toy in the window. The world blurs. He blinks. The scene fades. His mind drifts. He doesn't move. He just stands there. He thinks, before I knew it, things that had been in one ear and out the other. He looks down. The dots swirl. He doesn't speak. He doesn't move. He just watches the pattern. It feels like nothing, he thinks. This is kind of scary. Have there just been a lot of coincidences lately? He looks uneasy. He feels strange. Thinks, it was like I was seeing more colors than usual. He blinks slowly. It was very slight, but he felt it. A shift. He didn't know what it meant. He stayed still, and gradually, he sits at a table, watches TV. A plush toy sits beside him. He doesn't touch it. He adjusts his glasses, looks at his hand, thinks, stares at the floor, doesn't speak, just sits. His mom eats ice cream. His sister holds a mug. He sits across from them, doesn't join, just watches. She pops up. Hey, Tani, look at this shiny mud ball I made yesterday. He says, puffed. He turns away, thinks, there's no real point to it. He doesn't look at her, just stares ahead. He mutters, it's just thoughtless communication. He pushes his glasses up, looks down, stays quiet, a white page. He doesn't move. He doesn't speak. He just is. The silence stretches. He waits. She smiles wide, eyes big, cheeks pink. She doesn't say anything, just looks at him. He looks away. He glances at her. She's still smiling. He turns his head, looks at the wall, doesn't respond. She sparkles, smiles, twirls. He doesn't react, just watches her. She doesn't stop. Keeps smiling. He sits in class. Thinks, what does she really want? The teacher places surveys on the desk. He ignores them. He looks up. Thinks, I know there isn't any real point to it, but... He looks at her. She looks away. He thinks, I still can't stop thinking about it. He looks down, doesn't move, just sits. She yawns. Big, loud, stretches. He watches. Doesn't speak, just watches her yawn. She closes her eyes. He walks down the hall, backpack on, looks ahead, doesn't turn, doesn't stop, just walks. She leans against lockers, bites her thumb, looks at him. He doesn't look back, just keeps walking. He stops. She says, Tani, you're still here? He says, I was finishing paperwork for the committee. She laughs. Tani looks back. She asks which way he walks home. He says, East Gate, then right. She says, me too. She blushes hard. Asks if he wants to walk part way together. He stays quiet. This is the moment. They walk side by side. She looks down, sweating. He glances at her. Silence hangs between them. He thinks. When Suzuki stops talking, I only just realized it. He doesn't know what to do. She thinks, we don't even have pointless conversations, let alone meaningful ones. She looks away. He thinks, I don't want her to misunderstand how I feel. He keeps his eyes forward. She tries to speak. He looks at her. She freezes, her hand moves toward her face. She says, She adjusts her hair. Says, ah. She looks nervous. He stays still. The air feels heavy. Their hands brush. She grabs his hand. He doesn't pull away. Their fingers lock together. They walk holding hands. Her wristband is visible. His backpack bounces with each step. They walk under the sky. She laughs inside. He thinks, lights on inside the tunnel? She says, ah ha ha. They walk in silence again. She looks down. He stares ahead. Neither lets go of the other's hand. She looks up at him. He looks straight. She sweats. He stays calm. The walk feels too short. She stops. Points behind her. Says mine's the opposite. See ya. She runs off. He watches. He stands still. Watches her go. Says nothing. His hand drops. He blinks slowly. She runs away. He says, oh, well then. She yells, see ya. He doesn't move. Just watches. Next day. He sits alone. Classmates whisper, is Suzuki out sick? He says nothing. Just stares. He thinks, did I upset her? Meanwhile, Suzuki is snoring in bed. He doesn't know. He sits alone. Looks at her empty seat. Feels strange. The room feels too quiet without her. She walks in. Waves at friends. He watches. She smiles. He stays still. Doesn't wave back. He thinks. Classmates notice. One says, she's here. He looks away. He walks the hall. Thinks when Suzuki isn't here, school feels so empty. He looks down. A classmate asks, are you going out with Tani? He freezes. Eyes widen. Doesn't answer. He says, I need to say something. Thinks no, but what? Says, you're misunderstanding. He walks up to her. She turns. He says, hey. She yells, we're not going out, okay? He stares. She yells. Classmates watch. He doesn't speak. Just looks at her. She looks mad. She says, that's my seat. He stands still. She glares. He doesn't move. She looks away. She asks for a notebook. He says, it's fine. I'm about to go to class. She says, sorry. I'll move. They sit in ethics class. He writes notes. She sits beside him. He doesn't look at her. He thinks, I should apologize. He looks down. She looks ahead. The class goes on. He stays quiet. He thinks, we should act like nothing happened. He says her name softly. She hears him. She looks down, hurt. He clenches his fist. He can't let her world fall apart because of him. She turns to him. Says, forget about yesterday. He looks at her, surprised by her words. He lowers his head. Says, I'm sorry. His voice is quiet but clear. She hears every word. He walks away. She stays seated. He doesn't look back. She watches him leave the room. She closes her eyes. Says nothing. Her hand rests on the desk. She stays still. He walks alone. Thinks, perhaps I should tell myself that instead. He sighs. He walks down the street, sky above. He moves forward. His steps are slow but steady. He thinks, why is it I always struggle to say what I feel? He keeps walking. He hears a shout. Tani! He turns. She runs toward him. He stops, waits for her. She hugs him. Says, I'll always love you. He freezes, then slowly hugs her back. He looks down. His glasses slip. He doesn't move. He lets her hold him. She opens her eyes, smiles, says okay. She nods. He feels her warmth. A blur of motion. A flash. Something changes. The moment hangs in the air. The world fades. Sound fades. Time slows. He doesn't move. She doesn't let go. He sits on a train. Looks out. She says, have a safe trip. He nods. Doesn't speak. Fireworks light the sky. She laughs on the phone. He smiles. Reads a book. Peace.